Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It's April 29th, 2024. Great to be with all of you today. My name is Bob Lang, and it's time for our daily bite. Sorry, we're getting off to a little bit of a late start here, but better late than never, right? So we're going to be talking a little bit about the markets here today. A lot of stuff happening this week, so I want you all to be listening in, paying very close attention to what I have to say to you this morning. So we're right in the heart of earnings season. Biggest week of earnings coming up this week as we end April and get started with May. Today and tomorrow, last two trading days of April. So far, S&P 500 is down about 2.5%, almost 3% for the month of April. Made a nice comeback the last couple of days. We're up a little bit this morning, up about 14 handles this morning. Nasdaq up about 77 points. Of course, all the indices are down for the month of April. It'll be a real challenge for the indices to get back to the flat line or even into the green for the month. You never know what'll happen, but I highly think that it's going to be a negative month of April. What we've done is narrowed the loss quite significantly the last week or so. It's also a big week for data, right? And we have the jobs report coming out this week. A lot of jobs data coming out on Wednesday and Thursday, just before the non-farm payroll comes out. I believe they're looking for about 250,000 on the growth of jobs for the month of April. That will be released Friday morning before the market opens. Oh, and by the way, a Fed meeting coming up. That's on. That starts tomorrow. That's a 2-day meeting that starts tomorrow, ends on Wednesday with a policy statement at 2:00 in the afternoon Eastern time. They're highly likely to keep policy the same. We're at 5.25% to 5.5% on the Fed funds rate. Probably going to be staying the same there for the foreseeable future. And I heard something today that from Citigroup, for instance, that they think the first rate cut's coming in July. I can't really put my arms around that thought or that idea and embrace that. It's just not going to be happening. I think they're very likely to get maybe one rate cut if we're lucky this year, and it'll probably be on the back end, maybe even after the election in November. Citigroup is seeing 4 rate cuts in 2024, and if you think about that for a minute, with the hot inflation that we've had for the past couple of months, certainly since the beginning of the year, CPI and PPI have been hot. Every print that we've had so far. We're going to have an April print coming up in about 2 weeks. Why would the Fed cut rates right now? Growth is still, it's not great. It was good in the first quarter, 1.6% we came in last week, but driven mostly by inflation. Later this week, we have a very important data point, which is productivity and labor costs. We're going to be getting that out Thursday morning before the open, I believe. Important number, because it's going to tell us if growth was driven by inflation or by actual productivity. If it's driven by productivity, that's good. That's good, strong growth. But the Fed is really not in any hurry to cut rates here and to just add more fuel to the fire of inflation. We've seen inflation starting to rage. We saw strength in gold, crude oil, silver, other commodities as well too. Lumber has been coming down quite sharply though, and interest rates are still elevated here. We see the 2-year, the 10-year up near 5%. So all these things that are going on right now are going to have an influence on what the Fed policy is going to be in the intermediate term and the long term, right? I think when we looked at this policy statement last month, which came along with projections, we saw that their long-term forecast for inflation is about 2%, and Fed funds rate down to about 3.5%. So really, from where we're at right now, I don't see a whole heck of a lot of movement. I think the forecast actually to the end of 2026 is that we're going to have about 9 rate cuts between now and then. But that's more than 2.5 years from now. So a lot can change in that time. So I almost forgot one more big thing that's happening this week. Earnings, right? Big earnings week. And I did say that it's the largest earnings week, but let's talk about some of the names that are going to be delivering this week. Amazon tomorrow night is going to be delivering their first quarter earnings. Apple, Thursday after the close, is going to be delivering their earnings. Coinbase, DraftKings also, names like Qualcomm and Etsy and Starbucks. Supermicro, which has been a hot name for the past 3-4 months. PayPal, Lilly tomorrow morning, 3M tomorrow morning as well, too, along with McDonald's and Coke. So a lot of names that are going to be delivering earnings, and we're going to be hearing a lot of things from them. So as you know, last week we got earnings at the end of the week on Thursday night from Microsoft and from Alphabet, Google. So both those earnings were pretty strong, and they delivered some nice numbers and helped the markets rally big time on Friday. So, of course, on the other flip side, we had a disappointment from Meta. The earnings weren't a disappointment, but the disappointment came when they talked about excessive spending that they're going to be making into the AI area, and that fact that they're going to be probably going to have losses over the next 4 or 5 quarters. So the market was very disappointed with that. The stock did bounce off of the lows about 410, 405, and now it's trading at about 437. I think it might have stalled here, but I do like Amazon tonight. Take a look at that one. Also, I'll be playing it tonight and tomorrow for tomorrow night's earnings. AMD is also coming out with earnings. NVIDIA looks interesting. It's up a couple of dollars this morning. They had a big story on them on 60 Minutes last night. It was very interesting. They interviewed Jensen Huang, the CEO and founder of the company, and he just thinks that the business is just lights out fantastic. This guy is a straight shooter. He's not a BSer, but he's super smart, and I think this is a company that's probably got a lot more runway to go. Maybe get above 1,000 by the next earnings report, which is coming up in about a month or so. Take a look at that one over the next couple of weeks. We do have some of that in our service. Let's see what else here. I did want to show you a couple of charts here. Let's take a look at again, Microsoft, which had a sharp day on Friday. Did close near the lows of the day, but still, it has that holding that gap up here. If we can get a good couple closes above that 20-day moving average, that would be a positive. Alphabet also, Google closed middle of the day here. It is at a new all-time high. It's a $2 trillion company now. And again, Amazon, which spiked down towards that 100-day moving average on Thursday, bounced off of it, and had a really strong day on Friday. It's following through today. So we'll see how that one performs. I think that the stock's got some legs probably to get back up towards to 200 area over the next couple of weeks. Couple of the names that I've liked here that had earnings later on this week. Wingstop here, which had a nice breakout on Friday of a nice long base. You can see that here. From about the 370 all the way down to 330, and it broke out above that level on Friday. That was a follow through day from Thursday. So this is a name that you got to take a look at as well too, with earnings coming out on Wednesday morning. A couple other smaller names are going to be coming out. Peloton is going to be coming out Thursday morning. Not really too interested in that one. Cloudflare is one that we did well with last time the earnings came out. And you can see that big spike up there back in February. We were all over that one, and it's come back down, filled that gap. It's not performing too well right here, but you know what? I mean, this is a stock that can certainly surprise people on the upside. So it's certainly worth a play here. It's at $88 right now. I'm going to be looking at probably some of the 85 or the 90 calls on this one later on in the week. Bill.com, Fortinet, which is in the cybersecurity space, is coming out with earnings. It doesn't look all that great here. Bill also not looking that great here, which is in that buy now, pay later space. So, there's some stocks that the charts are looking fairly good. There's some stocks that the charts are not looking fairly good. So Marriott pulled back a bit from recent highs. They could deliver earnings on Wednesday morning. Coke is looking pretty strong with a nice breakout here. Followed up with Pepsi last week. Pepsi had really strong earnings and had a big shot higher the day after earnings. You can see that big white bar over here. Red bar was the day of earnings, and this is the day after. And so it's moving on to higher levels. Get this one, if it breaks 180, it'll be in great shape. And then finally, I want to talk about Tesla, stock that I've been talking about for the past several days. And again, it's looking like it's going to open up around 185, 180, 190 now. Wow. Had a deal over the weekend with China and Baidu with their FSD cars. I was looking for a move where the stock was going to close above the 184, 185 level, which is the March highs over here, right? So you can see how that comes into play here. Let's annotate that here. So you can see why that's an important level here. All right. So we get above that level and we get a couple of closes above there. I'm not interested in buying it today, right? Would I love to admit it on Friday? Sure, right? But who knew about this news? But I'm not there to try and game the news and game when the stock is going to have some good news and pop 10%. My job here is to find a trend and if it's valid and if it works, and to jump on that trend and ride it up or ride it down, whatever it may be. So obviously you could trend up here once we got above this level here. You could have made a ride up to the 270 level, where it's nearly closed there at the end of last year. It's down sharply this year, but it's got some room to make up. And I think closing above this important line here for a couple of days, it's gonna make a run up to this 200-day moving average. So even if it closes above 190, 185, 187, 190 for a couple of days in a row, I'm willing to put some risk out there and try and get a run up to that 200-day moving average, right? So that's a stock I'm watching over here. It's certainly not overbought. Look at the relative strength here. MACD just went on a buy signal here as well too. So, and volume trends are starting to turn positive. So there's an opportunity for a trade in Tesla right here. So we'll be talking about that in the chat room later on today. If you're not in the chat room, my question for you is why not? And you can see that we're posting a lot of stuff in here. There's Nicolette, there's Dale, Craig posting some stuff. There's Jim. And Eric's in there as well every single day. TJ, Dean, Dave is with us every day. Leanne, Baron, there's John and Jose. Everybody's in here today, so we're all got our seatbelts on and strapped in and ready to go for a big trading day. And if you're not in the trading room, then I think you should be. So come on over to explosiveoptions.net and see what we're doing. I think it's going to beat everyone. Again, sorry I'm late here, but we'll be back on Thursday morning. Hopefully. A little bit more on time, and I appreciate everyone spending a little bit of time with me. Pay attention to what's happening today and this week. I gave you a lot of stuff that's happening with the data, with the earnings, with the Fed meeting. It's the end of the month. We have the jobs data coming out later on this week, so a lot of stuff packed into this week that can impact the market and move everything up and down. Going to be a lot of volatility this week, so be ready for it. All right. Have a great day, everyone. I appreciate everyone spending a little time with me, and I'll see you guys all on Thursday morning. Thanks. Bye.